What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of our Last Leg podcast.
Sorry.
Yes, very excited. You got me, your co-host, Nikki G, and my boy,
Jonny G.
God damn. We're going to get right into it because it was a very good week in football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to talk about it. But we apologize for last week. Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
he was out of state. I had stuff going on. We apologize. We really do.
Absolutely.
Because last week was a great slate, and I'm upset that we missed it. But
Yeah.
while we got you here at the beginning of the video, go ahead, like, subscribe, share, Spotify, YouTube, all that good stuff. You can check out the Insta as well. We're happy to be here. We love doing this. I know John does love it as well.
Absolutely.
It's got to be one of our funnest things to do. We look forward to it every week. But with that being said,
I think that just brings us straight into the week.
whoa, let's do it.
I think we go ahead and start off as we always do, ladies and gentlemen. Thursday night football. We are at week 13. Man, we are approaching the end.
I don't like it.
I know.
Don't talk about
but
it.
it's all right. It's all right. So I have a couple of points that I usually don't really, if you guys have listened to our segments, my boy does a lot of point talks. I want to do a little bit of justification for myself and kind of pick up my gears a little bit. So I did a little bit of
respect it.
dabbling on some of the stats. That being said, we got the Seattle Seahawks at Dallas. The over and under is sitting at -46.5, and the line is sitting at -9 even, favoring, guess who? The Cowboys. The Cowboys have won actually 14 consecutive games at home. I can almost see this being another one to that count, so probably 15. The Seahawks just got embarrassed. If you guys saw on Thanksgiving, they got embarrassed. Horribly embarrassed. I will say no surprise there. I did call a one pick from Geno Smith. I think because he's coming back from an injury, that could be a very big factor as to why he's still kind of getting accustomed to everything, let alone coming back to a game against one of the best defenses in the NFL right now. So nonetheless, I think Dak and the Cowboys show up just as good as they have been performing, especially against the Commanders. Considering that was a divisional game. I know how we always stress how much a divisional game can factor in everything.
It needs to be a fucking sign
But
right
this one-
there.
oh, for sure. So that's a very good
Divisional
example.
games are different.
So the Seahawks actually got slaughtered by their divisional leader. And I'm pretty sure Seahawks and Cowboys are in that same division?
No.
Or was it the 49ers?
It is Cowboys, Eagles, Giants.
One more.
I don't know.
That was good, though.
Continue.
Digress that point. So the Cowboys have a lot of weapons. Geno has maybe one. Metcalf, I guess if you count two, Lockett. You stress that a lot on most times when we get some player props. But I really like the Cowboys taking this. So I do have two picks for this game. It's not really good to choose. Nine is a stretch. I can see it happening nonetheless. I can give you two picks. The first one is, unless there's a juice on it, then take it. It'd probably be better to take it lively. But I can see Dallas winning by 3. And the second pick is a pick by Geno Smith. This dude can probably throw another interception against the Cowboys. He's done it consistently. He did it against the 49ers. And if you parlay them both, at least on the ESPN bet app, that's plus 117. So I can see that happening.
That's pretty good.
So rather than choosing a money line, if I had to choose, Cowboys are going to win. I'm sure everyone, without a shadow of a doubt, that's going to be the pick, favoring by the whole entire country. But as far as where the juice is at, give me Geno Smith for an interception. But if you can parlay them, do them both.
I like that. Couple points to touch on.
Absolutely.
On this game.
Yes, sir.
And they are going to be make or break factors. Let's go over it. Cowboys, wowee. Thanksgiving, they put the Commanders in a fucking chokehold and didn't let go. 45-10. They embarrassed them. That's the football I like to see. Never let your gas off the fucking pedal. The Cowboys have covered the last 3 double-digit spreads in a row. All right. Cowboys are also 5-0 at home against the spread this year. Their average margin of victory at AT&T Stadium is over 25 points.
So 9 shouldn't be a no-brainer.
Which is absolutely crazy. The Cowboys are on fire. Correct? We can all agree with that.
Absolutely.
Hold on, though. Because the Cowboys, the only time they've beat teams by double digits, they do not have a winning record. They have not beat a team this year with a winning record. And guess what? They're going to have to prove themselves against Seattle to break that streak. Because Seattle does have a winning record, sitting at 6-5 right now, I think.
Okay.
But they're on fire. None of their wins are against a winning team or a team with a winning record. The Seahawks winning would be big because that just for them to cover the spread. It would show that they're actual contenders. Now, if they win, it shows they're actual contenders. They can win road games, which is going to be a big factor because there's not a chance that they're going to be playing at home in the playoffs. This is the road we're looking at right now. We got to start looking at playoff contentions and stuff like that. Metcalf, last time he played the Cowboys, he had a great game. It was like 4 catches for over 100 yards, I think.
That's crazy. That's 25 yards a catch.
Little gem right here. Prescott has never beat the Seahawks in his entire career.
I never knew that.
Which is just a little tidbit of a gem. You got to think, though, the last time they played was what, probably 2-3 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 3. But either way, that Cowboys team is not what this Cowboys team is now.
So that's when Russell Wilson was still there. Probably? No?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Continue.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're comparing, Truss and Russ to Geno, who is injured. Don't get me wrong, I love Geno. I want him to stay healthy, and I want him to be a good quarterback for the Seahawks. But I don't think he's going to be able to prove that against this Cowboys defense. Granted, the Cowboys defense has a couple injuries in it that are major factors, but somehow they seem to manage to overcome and conquer. With all that being said, I think it's crazy to back the Seahawks in this game. Cowboys, the spread's sitting at 46.5. Cowboys put up 45 themselves. So go ahead and give me the over and give me the Cowboys to cover the spread. And I'll take them at plus 9.5. I think the Cowboys win by 2 scores.
Okay. All right. Pretty bold take there. Before we digress, move to the next one. Do we have a weekly Nicky G SGP?
We'll double back on it, and I'll get you guys right at the end of the show.
All right. So I will push us to our next game. If you guys saw them last Sunday, they did pretty damn well. I watched the game myself. Again, week after week, we stress it to you guys. These guys have fire in them. They never give the fuck up. We have the Indianapolis Colts against the Tennessee Titans. 1.5 favoring the Colts in Tennessee. And they're sitting at over and under at 42.5. So straight out the gate, props to the Cowboys. Excuse me, the Cowboys, the Colts. The Colts.
Not to say, don't you get that red and white?
They did well. They did really, really well. Baker Mayfield tried just as much as Minshew Mania. Every time I saw Minshew pop up, this guy's voice always pops in my head. Minshew Mania. Anyway, that being said, the Colts they were going to lose. They were going to lose, but they pulled it off. Again, fire never gives up. They never give up.
What do you mean they were going to lose?
Bro, they were going to choke that end. They were close not to lose it, but to at least tie it. They gave the opportunity to the Buccaneers to potentially tie the game to 27-27, which could have pushed it to overtime.
You could make the same argument that the Bucs blew the game too and gave it to the Colts.
Yeah. But the fact was, in that aspect, was that the Buccaneers were down the entire game.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying, that the Colts almost gave the Bucs the opportunity to
almost gave them the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Don't disrespect the boys in blue.
I won't. All right. So I like to say that the game was overall very entertaining. But moving to the Titans. So I predict this game to be a very rush-heavy game. But with that being said, JT was starting to find his groove with the whole team, the whole entire shebang. Recent news, JT is going to be out for about 1 to 2 weeks for a finger injury and a finger surgery.
2 to 3.
2 to 3. All right.
2 to 3. So, he's getting surgery in LA today or tomorrow on his thumb.
Okay. So big factor there. That at least still leaves Zach Moss, though.
Who's a dog.
Exactly. So we've got Zach Moss versus Derrick Henry, Minshew when he wants to run the ball. There's still some run game there for sure. But it sucks because I really wanted to compare these stats, and I made this cheat sheet for myself before that announcement was made on the Score app. If we were going to look at the past 3 games or so for JT, he had 91 yards for 2 touchdowns, 69 yards for 1 touchdown. Compared to Derrick Henry, he had 76 yards for 2 touchdowns. He did do bad for the past 2 games. I give him that.
2 tutties last week.
But overall, still pretty good. And he got a 75-yard game with only 1 touchdown. And he had 101 yards against the Steelers. So Derrick Henry is pretty notorious for doing very well against the Indianapolis Colts. I'll give him that. The last time they played, he didn't do so hot. Maybe it's because the Colts really made their playbook to work around Derrick Henry. But this game could be potentially different. The Colts, I think, are going to pull it off. The reason I say that is because the Colts and the Texans both sit at 6 wins and 5 losses. If the Colts can beat the Tennessee Titans, that puts them in a better position. And hopefully the Texans can lose against the Broncos. And the Broncos are doing mighty well so far. My opinion. But if the Broncos can beat the Texans, that really, really puts the Colts in a very good spot for that wild card position. And the only thing they got to worry about is just getting and catching up to the Jags record. So overall, if I had to take a pick on this, give me the Colts money line at -118.
That is the correct choice. So if let's say football ended today, right now, Colts are in the playoffs.
Yep, absolutely.
Colts are in the wild card.
Absolutely.
That's over the Bills, the Bengals. So dude, the Colts ain't no fucking slouches this year, okay? Now I don't even want to talk about if Anthony Richardson was in instead, because I'm happy Gardner's in. I
like Gardner. I like Gardner. I learned to like him.
Again, hats off to the boys for a beautiful win, beautiful fighting on both teams. Respect both of them. Evans, Godwin, Baker, everybody's great, but Colts were better. But yeah, with the unfortunate news of JT, that really stinks. But
yeah, honest
to God, I'm fine with Zach Moss. I have no problem with him running the backfield. That kid, he's older than me. That guy has shown that he can run a backfield by himself, and he can take 20 carries a game and can produce 100 yards a game. He has proven that. So for all the people that are worried about JT being out, we've done it already without him. We're good. It's going to be okay. The Titans are coming off a 17-10 loss against the Panthers, who I want to touch on real quick because good job, Panthers, for firing Frank Reich before.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't take you 3 years. You figured out it was bad 12 weeks in. Good for you. But with them firing him, that makes me very happy. I think it puts a little boost in Colts Nation a little bit, especially the players that were stuck under him.
Oh, for sure.
That all thought he was a bad coach. And I still think he is. But the Panthers are going to be paying for a while. But back to the game. Colts are 4-1 on the road this season. Bet you didn't know that. 4-1 on the road. They've lost one road game.
Yeah, bro.
That's crazy. Very respectable and commendable. Gardner and the whole crew. Good God, they're playing good football right now. You can't really argue that.
No, absolutely.
They've won the last 3 in a row, and to me, they're teams that some of them should have beat us. Everybody counted the Colts out very quickly. But the problem for the Titans is going to be Derrick Henry.
Yes, sir. Exactly what I said.
In my opinion, if Henry is getting 100+ yards a game like he was last year and the year before that, there's a reason they call him King Henry. He was the rushing leader for so long. Now all of a sudden you can't get him to break 100. If Henry doesn't break 100, I don't think they are a competitive team at all.
Do you think the reason he was probably getting the opportunity to break 100+ yards most of the seasons, like you mentioned, was because they still had Tannehill? Right?
No.
No? You don't think so?
I personally, I think Tannehill is a more accurate arm than Will Levis.
I agree with that aspect. But if you have a quarterback that's able to dish the ball to other receivers, that gives the impression to the defense that, hey, we don't completely have to put all of our focus on Derrick Henry, which is the position they're in now. So they always have their eyes set on Henry.
Well,
when you think?
Well, that, but then also...
A little bit controversial. But
also Hopkins. Because Hopkins tore us up on the Texans for years, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's going to be a man with probably a cover on Hopkins, and then they're going to have one guy blitzing every single time, and one guy keeping on a spy on Henry. That's going to be the best way to run this defense. I don't know if Gus Bradley understands how to run a good defense, but hey, he didn't do bad last week. But to me, if Henry's not getting 100 yards, that's not the game you want to go.
Random question. What would could you imagine C.J. Stroud, Tank Dell, and DeAndre Hopkins all in Houston Texans?
No.
Nah.
No.
That'd be to me, that'd be a crazy lineup, bro.
It'd be a lineup. Only because they're in my division, I won't give them the respect.
Yeah. This guy. All right, continue.
But then also, like I said, Hopkins is he knows the Colts. He doesn't like us. He has given us problems for years on years on years.
Yes, sir.
And now the motherfucker's back in our division again. But I think between Kenny Moore, Julian Blackmon, they're going to be able to figure something out for him. Don't get me wrong. If you can keep Hopkins to less than, 60 yards, that's a good game. You played a good defensive game.
Yeah.
Because Hopkins will go up there and get it. 100%.
Yeah. No disagreement. No, zero disagreement.
But like John said, I am taking the Colts money line, and I am also taking over 40.5. 42.5 smells baity. I think this could go, I don't know, like 13.
2017.
Yeah.
What's that? 37.
Yeah. But no, higher than 2017, I think.
Well, you said you wanted 40.
And that's 37.
Yeah. So I'm giving you a bit. All right. So what? 2020?
I'm thinking like 24-17.
That's 41.
Exactly. That's why I'm at 40.
Oh, okay. I'm tripping. All right. You're choosing the over. Okay. I got you. My fault.
That's okay. That's okay.
I don't know. We'll see. Because, Pittman, this is the last point. Like, Pittman, he had 100+ a game against the Buccaneers. And I'm shitty because I had him as an anytime touchdown. But, like...
That's what lost the whole parlay, too.
Yeah, the Colts have the potential to get it down the field. It's if they can execute. And that goes for a lot of NFL teams, not just the Colts overall, you know what I'm saying? So... I guess you could be right. It could just get all they can put up so many yards on the box score, whatever. But that doesn't mean they're going to score a touchdown. So it could just really come down to that. It'll just end up going to Matt Gay, making a field goal.
And then also, just a hot take real quick. I don't think Vrabel will be the head coach at the end of the year anymore.
I honestly agree with you.
I
agree with you.
He needs to get out of there.
Yeah.
You're wasting either keep Vrabel and get rid of Henry or keep Henry and get rid of Vrabel.
Yep.
Because it makes no sense why he's getting less than 20 touches a game.
Yeah.
He is the best player on your offense next to Hopkins.
Yep.
You either throw it to him or you give it to Henry.
It could be just because they don't want to get him hurt all the time, but in general. But I get the whole safety aspect of it. But again, he's the best player on the team for a reason. Let him be an athlete. Let him show you why you picked him up in the first place.
Exactly.
Right?
He played lights out in Bama. That motherfucker's like 6'6", 250 pounds of like zero body fat. Have you ever seen that man work out? Oh my God. Yeah. He could bench press us together.
Yeah, exactly.
With ease. Repping us too. It's crazy to not be giving him the ball, but
it is.
Pray to God they don't. Colts money line over 40.5.
You heard it. You want to bring us to our next game?
Yeah, I'll take us into it. I don't know if you have any points on it, but I find it to be a good one.
Okay, let me hear it.
Lions at Saints. Lions are favored by 4.5, over under at 49.5. Now, a couple things we need to go over real quick is that the Lions lost to the Packers last week, 29-22. But again, right here is the sign where it should be. Divisional games are different. Those are the teams that can beat the teams that you think are crazy good, just like the Commanders almost did twice against the Eagles.
Absolutely.
Also, that's who's fourth in that division. The Commanders.
Oh, you got it. There you go. Yeah, there you go. My fault. You're right.
Saints are coming off an embarrassing fucking loss to the Falcons. Again, another divisional game. 24-15. 5 fucking red zone trips, and you couldn't get in the end zone once. That's embarrassing. Then also Chris Olave left the game third quarter with a concussion. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to clear concussion protocol to get in this week. So going back to last week, with all that talent, how do you not get in? I'm sorry, but Olave, Kamara, and Taysom Hill, with your wild factor. And
Bro, I'm so surprised that entire game. How the hell did Kamara not get into the end zone?
I don't know how Olave did. I don't know how
And they fumbled
Hill
it
did
twice in the end zone, or once or
they
twice.
fumbled once in the red zone for a fact, maybe twice.
Yeah. Some bullshit like that.
It was a hack job. It looked very bad because the Falcons looked terrible all year. But then again, they brought back Desmond Ridder this week, but the motherfucker had less than 100 yards going into halftime. So it really came down to the Saints playing bad ball, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But without Olave, let's go through the Saints' targets real quick. Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, that guy.
He's out. Michael Thomas
he is
out. Chris Olave is out. Their three best wide receivers. See ya. They're not even in the game this
They're
week.
not favored though, right?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Then, at only 4.5, the Lions have been playing lights out football. Granted, they're going to Nolans, but
That don't mean shit.
now let's go over the targets on the Lions, okay? Because you've got David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Josh Reynolds, and that's not counting that big bad boy Hutchinson on defense, okay? This is a no fucking brainer, in my opinion. The only factor is going to be Goff. I think that he is always the underlying factor for the Lions.
Yep.
We saw when he was in LA that he's got issues. He does have off games. But right now, this is Jared Goff's best football. And I think he keeps playing this way and bounces back from a loss. Give me the Lions to cover and then give me under 49.5.
I agree with you. What's the line sit at to cover?
4.5 on the Lions.
Give me the Lions at -3, just in case the Saints somehow always try to find some interceptions, fumbles, some turnovers of some sort. Just in case.
They know how to kick field goals, that's for sure.
Exactly. I think if I had to choose only two, it kind of compares to the very first part of the game where I said with the Seahawks and the Cowboys, give me the Lions at -2.5 or 3. I think it could push. I think they win by field goal no matter what. Give me Jared Goff to throw an interception. He has literally been throwing nothing but picks the past 2 games. I think he's thrown 4 or 5 in total in the past 2 to 3 games. So I'm just gonna ride this little train until he breaks the habit. That's just one that I'm not saying to do it, but that's what I'm gonna do because that's what I feel, what I'm comfortable with. And go ahead.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying yes.
Yeah. So ride the train. If you want to ride it with me, sweet. I think he's gonna throw a pick, but I also still think that the Lions will cover and they still will win. Period.
I agree.
I only
let's save the best for last.
Oh, okay. Do you want then bring us to the next one then, Bucko?
All right, let's go ahead and go.
He already knows.
You already know what game we're saving for last.
We all
you guys
know. We all know.
You guys know. Let's go ahead and jump into the Chiefs and Packers. They are going to Lambeau Field. They're playing in Packers territory. Chiefs are favored by 6.5. Over under at 42.5. Now, Chiefs are coming off a good win, 31-17.
Yes, sir.
One thing that you need to note on is that the Chiefs defense, they got scored on twice, and they were like, yeah, we're done. We're done with this shit. They let them score 3 more points after that, and they scored both touchdowns, in the first quarter?
Yep.
Yeah. So the Chiefs defense stepped it up big time, and they're playing great football right now. That's you cannot forget that. I know it doesn't sound right. The Chiefs defense, normally they're offensive heavy, but their defense is what's saving them in these games right now, okay? Because the Chiefs offense is playing good, but this isn't, 3-4 years ago Chiefs offense, okay? They're not as electric. They know how to milk their way down the field now. And I like them playing football like that. That's how Brady made his entire career. Is little fucking 5 out and in, and throw it to him. Let him work for the extra 5 yards.
Yes, sir.
And that's exactly how Brady became the quote unquote GOAT. But again, Chiefs defense is playing really well. Do not, nobody discredit Jordan Love right now because he is probably playing the best football he's played all year right now. Okay? Because in the last 2 weeks, Jordan Love, Last 2 games, Jordan Love has thrown for 590 yards and 5 tutties. I'm sorry. One game was 2 tutties. One game was 3 tutties. And guess how many interceptions in that game? Those 2 games.
I don't know.
0 interceptions.
Actually, you just rang a bell. I saw a post on Instagram or Facebook, whatever, comparing side by side Aaron and Rodgers' stats in his very first first season or his third season, whatever. His stats are so similar to Jordan Love's. And the way he performed against the Lions, unbelievable. I really, really thought that the Packers were not going to be able to even keep up with the Lions. And I'm pretty sure everyone thought that Thanksgiving week. So when I saw that, I was literally stunned. Me, my dad, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you guys did. All had the Lions money line. We were all sweating.
But lost my bet.
And it was very agonizing, but very promising to see that the Packers still have it in them to pull that much potential, even with a quarterback like that. Jordan Love really is promising. It gives me an eye to see what the future holds for quarterbacks like Jordan Love, CJ Stroud, etc. But that was just my little piece.
Oh, and Jordan Love also learned under, arguably a top 25 quarterback of all time. Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Whoa, you don't think Aaron Rodgers was top 25 all time?
I'll give him the 25th spot. I'll give him the 25th spot.
Oh, my God. I wish we had enough time for him to name 24 quarterbacks better than Aaron Rodgers. Back to the game. But we don't. But we don't. Another thing to take into factor here is that weather very well could play a factor. We're playing in Wisconsin. So, it's very possible there to be a lot of snow. Now, don't get me wrong. Chiefs have an open stadium, so they're okay with this. They know how to deal with this in Arrowhead. But in Wisconsin, man, it's just that cold hits different, dude. It's a different breed. But at the end of the day,
let's hear it.
I'm not playing the spread. Give me the Chiefs money line, and I'm not touching the over-under either. If you want to take anything with the Chiefs being at 6.5,
damn,
over-under at 42.5.
Mahomes and him
you know what?
The same fire, bro. It could come close.
Give me the Chiefs at -5.5 and over 39.5. Chiefs -5.5 and over 39.5. I think the Chiefs put up 27. I think that the Packers aren't any slouches. I think Love throws for 2 passing touchdowns. And they get a field goal in there somewhere. So give me 27-17. Chiefs to win. Chiefs cover the spread and over 39.5.
I am not going to touch this game. If anything, I'll do something live, maybe like an extra field goal that I think one of the teams will get, but zero part of this game. It could literally go any way at any point in time. Everyone's going to think heavy on the Chiefs, and the Packers could come back, or vice versa. Chiefs are notorious for starting off slow and picking up the pace full throttle. You guys saw it against, what was the last team they just played? The Saints or...
Raiders.
The Raiders. They started off
14-0.
14-0. Halftime, 14-14. You never know. It's the Chiefs. So no comment, no take, maybe a live wager. We'll see. Follow us on Instagram. We post it as soon as we make it. Hey, and you guys, if you guys follow us already, check out the reels. We cashed, and you'll see more reels throughout the week. That brings us to our last game, or one of our favorite games, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the games you want to watch. That brings us to the San Francisco 49ers at Philadelphia Eagles. We're in Philly. The line sits at -3, favoring the 49ers.
Crazy.
And the over and under is sitting at 46.5. You could say that this could be the NFC Championship rematch. Last year we had Brock Purdy injure his arm the first quarter. Very, very disappointing. We all thought this was going to be one of the best NFC championships we had in a while. Could we see it happening again as far as not the injury, but will the outcome still be the same? The Eagles just plowing the 49ers. They have Brock Purdy. Everyone always calls him Mr. Irrelevant. So I think this game is kind of a little sneak peek of what we hope we would have saw last year and what we could potentially see this year. But that's we'll see. We'll see. Both teams are literally playing fantastically. The Eagles have playing nonstop, and they've showing us why they're the number one team. They've lost literally one time.
Eagles have in all their games that they've won by one score or less. They're 7-1.
I won't disagree there, but
They're
at the end of the
squeaking
day, who pulls up the
by.
one?
They're squeaking by.
But still,
This is
a dub is a dub, is it not?
I mean, it is, but I'm saying squeaking by is not going to be a thing that happens with the 49ers. You don't squeak by the 49ers, who are arguably next to Philadelphia, the best
But how many
team
times
in
have
the
the
NFL.
49ers lost this entire season?
One. And guess who it was too? Zach Wilson.
The Jets. Right.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
What? Oh, okay. Forget what he just said because, bro, okay, no, you know what? Bro, it doesn't even matter. Just because you think because they lost to the Zach Wilson. Yeah, a couple interceptions, but we could say the same for people like Jared Goff, Tony Romo. That's going way back. Obviously, it's not really relevant to what's happening now, but there are quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes making mistakes. Other teams who are in the top tier, like the Buffalo Bills, they were supposed to be one of the best teams this entire season. And they're not showing up at all.
I mean, nobody said they were going to be one of the best teams.
Yeah,
They've
of
proved time
course.
and time again that they're not.
Yeah, but they still somehow make it, no matter what.
But they just lost to the Eagles, and also,
And the Eagles have lost to the Commanders.
no, they didn't.
Not this season. It was this season, was it not?
No, they didn't.
Okay.
They won. The Commanders
But they
took them
pulled
to
it twice.
overtime.
Oh,
twice.
you're right. Okay, but
So you're not agreeing that the Eagles squeak by in
no, I'm
almost
saying that
every
they are still
win.
one of the best teams in the NFC.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But I'm saying the
honestly, the
Eagles,
NFL almost as
the
well.
Eagles squeak by nonstop.
Okay.
They barely win.
But they still win.
Okay, but that's not the 49ers. The 49ers are a totally different breed of a football team.
So, all right. Well, this kind of just fuck the points. Fuck.
No. We got so many
no,
points we got to touch on.
Bro, then you know what? Then let me hear yours. Let me hear it.
Well, I'll let you know right now. 49ers beat the shit out of the Seahawks. Like we already covered 31-13 last
Easy,
week.
yeah.
49ers look good. Eagles squeak by against the Bills once again, and they win by a field goal in overtime. That's another game they squeaked by in. Correct?
Correct.
They barely won.
Correct.
Barely won.
Correct.
To a team that is not even in the wild card right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Eagles almost losing shows a lot about that Eagles defense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they didn't decide to show up, it seems like, until they played the Chiefs. They were letting teams throw fucking point after point after touchdown
Right, yeah.
all year long.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. Eagles are a great football team. I'd put them at, arguably number 1 or number 2.
Okay, agreed.
Now, this is going to be a very close game.
Absolutely.
100% it's going to be a nail biter all the way to the end. But again, the Eagles tend to squeak by.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yes, sir.
Little tidbit, which is kind of fun. The Eagles will be in history of gambling the only team that is 10-1 at home and they're still underdogs.
Who?
The Eagles.
Oh, for this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, nobody else ever in sports betting history has ever been an underdog at home while they're 10-1.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Pretty gnarly.
Which it is. It's crazy.
Pretty gnarly.
I went back and forth on this fucking game a lot. Good golly.
I'm going to be honest with you, just to cut in, and you can read it as you wish. In this entire cheat sheet that I made roughly 4 to 5 hours ago, on my last bullet point, I did not choose anyone to win this game. Because on here, and I quote, actually, I think I deleted it. But regardless, I didn't know who to choose. Because it can go anyone's game. It can be anyone's game. So I wanted to wait for your input for you to convince me
That is so funny.
on what to choose.
That's so funny because I want you to read the end of my notes. Give me what to say after that.
Oh, it's blank.
Blank. I didn't know who to
I don't
take.
know who to take, bro. It's anyone's game. It's literally just points. So, like, if anything, and if a friendly reminder for all of those who are watching our podcast right now and listening to this, this is literally anyone's game. This is the game of the week. 100%.
There's
Shut
no
up,
arguing.
So if anything you're going to go for, if you make any fucking parlays, if you're making any parlays, listen to me. Do not choose any spreads or money lines, no matter what you do. I think player props is the way to go for this game. This is one of them. The only two takes that I think I could give you is either McCaffrey anytime touchdown or Jalen Hurts. And I'm still uncertain about those because this game can literally go any way. Any way. I don't know who to choose.
I'm at a loss too. 49ers are 3-3 on the road too against the spread.
This could be a game that anyone could truly watch without betting. Just watch. Like this is probably the prime football. Period. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good, dude. The
crazy.
The talent on the offense to me is evenly matched. Hurts is the X factor though. Depends on what they're going to want to do because against the Bills,
they squeak by.
How many times do we see Hurts on 3rd and 9 or some shit like that? And he gets the ball, everybody spreads wide, sends them all on 4 streaks, and boom, he's got the middle wide open.
But he also fumbled it twice.
He also did fumble it.
Last game, at least.
But I think he corrects himself. Hurts is he is so in his own head, I think, when he starts playing football. And I think that might be one of his biggest downfalls and one of his biggest pros. Because whenever the Philadelphia Eagles kicker kicked the field goal to send it to overtime, he was on the sideline shaking his head. So you could tell he was disappointed in himself. This game shouldn't be going to overtime. If there is a dog in anybody in the NFL, it is Jalen Hurts. That boy wants to fucking win games.
Yes, sir.
I love both of these teams. They are hands down two of my favorite teams to watch. Like you said, NFC Championship.
Is this Thursday night? Sunday night?
No, this is Sunday, 4:00.
4:25. Wow, midday.
Man.
All right.
And I
don't even want to touch the over and under because sometimes every time we think like it's going to hit over with crazy teams, it never is. It never is.
And the over under is sitting at
46 and a half.
Right. I mean, that's 27-20. It's not that crazy.
I could see at least both of these teams hitting 2 touchdowns. So 14-14 out of the gate. Now what happens after that, I don't know.
Because you got to look at it through the lenses of the fact that the Bills put up 34 points on them.
Yeah.
You know, that right there.
I think they both have stellar offenses more than stellar defenses.
Well, I think the 49ers are a top 5 defense in the NFL.
Okay.
Eagles? No. They are not. They should not have allowed Josh Allen and the Bills to outscore them. Not outscore them, but they had, I think it was 124 more yards offense than the Eagles did. But also that was because Josh Allen is so fluky.
For sure.
That man, threw 2-3 interceptions, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Personal opinion, like John said, I'm not touching the over-under. I'm not touching the spread. This is a godsend for player props, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
That's all I have on this game. I'm not giving you guys any type of direction on that. Player props.
For sure. If you guys want to touch anything live, that'd probably be the right time to do it.
Correct.
If anything I do, that's probably what it will be. But if we put up any sort of player prop parlay, we'll do it on our Instagram. Be sure to follow us. Subscribe, hit the bell. We appreciate it. Helps the algorithm. I think that concludes this entire episode, unless you have anything else to say, my guy.
I think we are good. Good God, what a fun episode. I promise you we'll be here next week.
Yes, sir.
We'll try not to miss any for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Especially when playoffs come around. You guys always know where to come for the bets.
100%.
John, you got anything else?
Like, subscribe, share with your family and friends. We are here. We love you guys. You got me, Johnny G, my favorite co-host.
My boy. Oh, wait. I'm Nicky G. I'm my boy, Jonny Gamble.
Yes, sir. We will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace out, y'all. Give me cheers, Johnny. Later.